Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this month's HMIS monthly call. We've got some really exciting stuff that we want to let you know about this month. So here we go. So for starters, we want to let you guys know that there has been a minor change to the Haven for Hope campus security policy. So effective immediately, when a new staff member comes onto campus for HMIS training or any type of HMIS training, they will no longer be reporting directly to the security building. They will now actually report to the volunteer center. So the reason for this is our security building is no longer able to print temporary badges. So they will need to go to the volunteer center to get their temporary badge printed. Once they have that temporary badge, then at that point, they will go ahead and go to the security building. When they get to the security building, then that is where they will remain and wait to be picked up and escorted across campus. So we want to let you guys know about that. I know in the past, everyone has always reported this to the security building. So we want to let you guys know about that change, because if you do report to the security building, they will redirect you to the volunteer center. So we want to make sure that you're just going directly to the volunteer center so that you are able to make it on time for the training. Now, as I always say, it is very important that staff members arrive at least 15 minutes early for the training to allow for them to get their temporary badge printed, conduct the registered sex offender search, and then proceed to the security building. If the staff member is not at the security building by the time the training starts, so for example, if they're here for new user training on a Tuesday, then they have to be here by that 1:30 cutoff. If they are not at the security building by 1:30, then at that point the training has already begun and they will not be able to attend. So they will be turned away and they will need to reschedule. So that's why we really want to make sure that everyone's getting here 15 minutes early, because that will allow for time to get through the volunteer center and to the security building, and we can start the training on time. We really want to emphasize that it is really important for staff members to bring a photo ID so that the staff member on duty can conduct that sex offender search, because it does have to be done for everyone coming onto campus. So please be sure that your staff members are coming with a photo ID and that they are going to the volunteer center for their temporary badge. It also does say all of this information in the email that is sent out. The calendar invite for all training classes that are sent out will include this information, but we have found that a lot of people aren't fully reading them and they are used to going to the security building, so they do end up going directly to the security building. So we do want to let you guys know from here on out, they will need to report directly to the volunteer center. So next up, we have a new process that we're starting. We've been working on a project that will assist COC-funded agencies with completing their annual assessment. So one of the biggest problems that we have with our users is they don't know when their clients are quote unquote due for an annual assessment. And so they're not sure when they need to complete it, and it's kind of difficult to continuously be checking to see if your clients are due for an annual assessment. So if you're not familiar with an annual assessment, it is intended to be completed on the anniversary of the client's project start date. So there's a 60-day window to complete it. So you have 30 days before the anniversary of the start date and 30 days after. If you try to complete it outside of that window, it will not allow you to. So what we're going to start doing is once a week, every week, we're going to send out an email with all of the clients that are due for an annual assessment. So the first person that will receive the email would be the case manager, if there's an assigned case manager on the project. If the enrollment does not have an assigned case manager, or if that case manager's HMIS account is no longer active, then the next person that would get the email would be the person who created the enrollment. If the person who created the enrollment is no longer active, then at that point, whoever is listed as a project manager on that project will be the one to receive the email. And those emails will be sent out every Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. So it's going to be a weekly email that you're going to get that'll give you a list of all the clients that are in need of an annual assessment. And then once that annual assessment is completed, that client will fall off the list and you won't receive the email for that particular client anymore. So if you have any questions or concerns about this, please feel free to reach out to us, and we would be happy to help you out with that. So this is something really exciting for us. We hope that it'll make annual assessments a whole lot easier, which will help when it comes time for things like system performance measures and things like that to make sure all of the annual assessments that needed to be done were in place. So we also want to let you know about a minor change to the enrollment member page in HMIS. So previously what would happen if you were working with an enrollment with multiple members, well, let's say there's 3 different members in the enrollment. If at any point one of the members was removed from the family that enrollment is associated with, then that client would no longer appear in the enrollment member page. So we worked pretty closely with our software vendor to correct this issue. And what they've done for us is now, after the client is removed from the family, they will actually still appear in that enrollment member page. However, now the row with their name will just be gray instead of white. So you can tell by looking at it that the member has actually been removed from the family. Another good thing about this is you now still have the capability of exiting the client from the enrollment, just like you normally would, even after they've been removed from the family, which is really great. It's going to help us make sure that our data is as accurate as possible, because you won't lose the ability to exit that client. Now, of course, we do still want to make sure that we try our best not to remove someone from the family until all of their enrollments have been exited. But in the event that you do accidentally remove them from the family before exiting them, you can now go back and correct that. So if you see a little gray row and you're not sure what's going on, that is the reason for that. It was just a minor change that we made. So one thing that we want to let you know that we have recently identified is we have heard reports of the annual assessment workflow freezing. So some users have been experiencing issues with the workflow freezing in general, but now we have identified that it is also happening in the annual assessment. So the difference with the annual assessment, if the workflow freezes in the middle and you have to close that workflow, it's very important that you do not go back and prompt the workflow once again, because if you do, in that case, it will actually restart the workflow and it will create a second annual assessment rather than allowing you to complete the first one. So if you do encounter this issue, what you would need to do is close the workflow and then go into the assessments page and manually complete the remaining assessments. So for example, if you got through the HUD Universal and the HUD program and then it froze, then you would need to go back and do the HUD Financial and the HUD Health Insurance if necessary, but you'd have to do those manually. So please keep that in mind, just to make sure that we're not accidentally creating multiple annual assessments for clients. And if you're not sure how to manually go in and complete the remaining assessments, please submit a ticket to the HMIS team, and we would be happy to walk you through that process. If you did actually create multiple annual assessments by mistake, don't worry, we would be happy to help you out with that. If you can submit a ticket to us and just tell us the client ID and which annual assessments were created by mistake, we can go in and remove those duplicate assessments for you. So please keep an eye out for that. Keep that in mind. And please reach out to us if you have any questions or if you run into this issue and you're not sure what to do, and we would be happy to help. So we are working diligently with our software vendor to get this issue corrected, because we do understand that it is a huge inconvenience for you. So we do apologize for that, but we are working as diligently as possible to get this issue resolved. We also want to give you guys some LSA updates. So as you know, the LSA was a brand new report this year. This was the first year that had released it, and it is a little bit different than any report that we've submitted before. So we are currently working with our LSA data. So they sent us a report of all the issues that were found within the report. So we are currently working with our software vendor as well as with the data liaison to identify and resolve those issues. And our deadline to resubmit is currently Monday, April 15th. That will be our deadline to submit that report to HDX. So just to give you an update on that, so you're aware of what's going on. So we are still actively working on looking into those issues. All right, so next up, as always, we have our data quality spotlight. We really want to give you guys a shout out for just taking the time to make sure that your data quality is as good as possible. So this month we have, it looks like a total of 6 different AGIS projects. Way to go, AGIS. It was really fantastic. We also have the Beat AIDS Ryan White Hopwa Permanent Housing Program. We've got 2 CHCSC YPSH programs with 0 data corrections. We have the Endeavors SSVS Homeless Prevention Project. We've got HABC coming in with their VASH PSH program. We have 3 different SAFE projects, way to go SAFE. And then we also have 2 different SAHA COC PSH projects. We've got our SAM CBHCA Rapid Rehousing Project. We have Thrive with their COC RRH Aftercare Project. And then we also have the Salvation Army coming in with their Scattered Site PSH program. So as always, thank you guys so much for taking the time to make sure that your data is as complete as possible. You know, it is not an easy job and we really appreciate it. And keeping track of your data quality throughout the year really helps when it comes time to submit reports like the LSA and the system performance measures, because it means that you won't be needing any data corrections, which is fantastic. So thank you guys for constantly monitoring your data quality and making sure that it is always complete. We really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And that is all we have for you today. So as always, if you do have any questions, any concerns, if you are in need of any additional training, whether it's a report training or a refresher training, any general questions, anything like that, please feel free to submit a ticket to HMIS. The email, of course, is hmis.support@havenforhope.org, and we would be happy to help. And we will see you next month. Thanks for joining us.